Hey ergonomic fans, today we're going to be going over what's called neutral posture. Neutral posture is the ideal posture that you want to be in. It causes the least amount of stress on our joints. And this is basically the exact opposite of awkward posture. It corrects that awkward posture. So let me just give you a general view of what neutral posture should look like in sitting, and then we'll be able to go through each limb step by step later on in this lesson. So just to give you a general view, when you're working at your computer and sitting, you want generally your eyes to be level with the top of the monitor. You also want your monitor to be at about arm's length away. You don't want it too close where you're looking down at the monitor. You want it to be, again, about arm's length away. You also want your shoulders to be relaxed and your back to be pretty upright. Some people like to be in a slight recline position, but you want to generally be between 90 and 110 degrees. You could recline the chair slightly, to 110 degrees depending on where your monitor is. But for right now, just think you want to generally be pretty upright. Your shoulders, you want to be relaxed. Your elbows, you want them to be at your side. You want your elbows to be at an angle between 90 and 110 degrees, and you want your wrists to be aligned with your forearm and your palm. So in this position right here, I could work without my shoulders hiking up. My shoulders can be relaxed. Elbows are at my side. Elbows right now are at about 95, 100 degrees, and I could type and mouse with my wrist aligned with my forearm and palm. You could also see for my lower body, my hips are aligned and parallel to the floor. And you could also see that I'm working at about a 90-degree knee angle. I'm not going ahead and I'm not tucking my feet under my chair. They're right in front of me at about that L shape, that 90-degree angle. Some people like to put their feet a little bit in front of them, to get that knee angle to be about 110, and that's fine. Generally you want between 90 and 110-degree knee angle. And that's generally what neutral posture should be looking like. We're going to go over each limb step by step in the slides right now. Now, you don't want your feet dangling or you don't want your heels to be up. You want your feet to be flat on the floor or flat on a footrest. You also want to have a knee angle between 90 and 110 degrees. Generally, you want the thighs to be parallel to the floor. You also want to make sure that the front of the chair is not banging into the person's calves. A lot of times people have a very large seat, and that seat is kind of digging into the calves. You want the back to be flush against the backrest, especially by the lumbar area. You either want to be sitting completely upright or in a slightly reclined position to up to about 110 degrees. Now, we generally want to have some nice lumbar support right by the lower part of the back. There's an anatomical reason for this, and if you look at the shape of the spine, you see that the lower part of the spine kind of curves inwards, and there's a little space right by the lower part of the spine. And in order to kind of support that lower part of the spine where it kind of curves inwards, you need that extra cushioning. Now, you definitely want to keep your back flush against the backrest, keep your hips all the way back in the chair. You also don't want to be going ahead and bending forward, bending to 80 degrees or 70 degrees, or bending excessively backwards, bending beyond 110 degrees. Again, you want your shoulders to be relaxed, elbows to be between a 90 and 110 degree angle. You want your wrists to be pretty much aligned with the forearm and palm, and you want to be typing in that position. Shoulders relaxed, elbows at your side, elbows between the 90 to 110 degree angle, wrist aligned with the forearm and the palm, and try as much as possible to keep that position, keep that relaxed position while you're typing and mousing. You also don't want to have your wrist move side to side. You don't want to have your wrist pointing towards your pinky or your wrist pointing towards your thumb. Keep your wrist straight. Remember, you want to have it aligned with the forearm and the palm. You also want to keep your neck, head, and shoulders directly opposite the computer. Don't rotate your trunk, don't rotate your neck to look at the monitor. You also want your head and neck not to be bent forward or backwards. You want to keep it aligned with your shoulders and your back. Now, really, there's no difference in neutral posture between the sitting and standing position. The only difference is that when you're standing up, you want your trunk to be aligned with the lower part of your body. You don't want to be leaning forward, leaning at an angle. You want your body to be completely upright as you're typing in that same neutral posture. And just to go over some other considerations for good posture, you want the monitor to be about arm's length away from the user. The monitor should be directly in front of the user to prevent that rotation of the trunk and neck, and the top of the monitor should be level with your eyes. Again, this is not a hard and fast rule. Some people like the monitor a little bit lower, some people like it a little bit higher, but just generally you want to make sure that whatever position that monitor is in, their neck is upright. Here's an illustration that really goes over what neutral posture and sitting should look like. Once you review this illustration, please take the quiz, which goes over awkward and neutral posture.